Woo! What's going on, guys? Storm coming at you guys today with another video. And today's video, man, is a little bit of some bad news for the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions fired DB's coach, Aubrey Pleasant. He's gone. Not only is he the DB coach, he's the pass game coordinator, but he is gone. Somebody had to go. Someone, this is the way the NFL works. This is the way sports kind of works in general. Someone always gets the can before the big firings start going down the chopping block. But I first seen this on social media, obviously, and there's a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans base upset with this firing. I'm not sure why you would be upset about this firing. I know people want to see Dan Campbell gone. People want to see Aaron Glenn gone. I understand that completely, totally. I do. In a way, but those guys aren't going anywhere, especially Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's not going nowhere. I personally thought maybe that Glenn was going to be, I thought they were going to do the way of on how they kind of treated, what was his name last year? Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn, they kind of demoted him, from offensive coordinator, kind of put him up in the booth, kind of put him away from everything, kept him involved still, but Ben Johnson ended up taking over as the OC halfway through the year. I thought they were going to kind of maybe do something along that line, kind of still try to keep Aaron Glenn involved, but, Ben kind of demote him, and maybe someone was going to take over. Don't know who was going to be. I thought maybe it would have been like an Aubrey Pleasant taking over for Aaron Glenn, but Aubrey Pleasant's gone. He's gone. And he deserves to be gone. He deserves to be gone. They're one of the worst secondaries in the NFL, or the worst. Completion percentage against, yards, everything. And yesterday's game was the kick in the junk that sealed his fate. Pretty much when Dan Campbell talked about this. Now they got nine defensive coaches on this team, okay? And probably all 9 of them deserve to be fired. You got Todd Wash as the D-line coach. Stephen Thomas as a defensive quality control coach. Kelvin Shepard, linebackers. Brian Duker, safeties. Cameron Davis, assistant D-line. David Carrell, defensive assistant and the outside linebackers coach. Wayne Blair, defensive quality control. And then you got Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, and Aubrey Pleasant, who was the DB and passing game coordinator but is now gone. All those guys probably deserve to be fired. To be honest with you, all of them, every single one of them, none of them deserve to be employed right now. They're terrible. We can talk about injuries. We can talk about this. Okuda's past injuries. You can talk about Melifonwu with his injuries. You can talk about Tracy Walker out for the year, our safety. You can talk about Jerry Jacobs with the ACL, Savion Smith with his neck. The list goes on and on and on with the injuries overall. But the secondary did get hit pretty hard. Now, What kind of like, if you look at the quotes from what Dan Campbell said last night after that game, if you can read between the lines, you probably know that somebody was going to be going, that it was that somebody was going to be fired. I didn't think anybody was getting fired this morning, but I knew there was going to be change soon. I knew something was going to happen. You could just feel it, right? You feel it as a fan. You can just feel it overall. But this quote. These 2 quotes from Dan Campbell. Now you think about it. Now it's not a shock. This is what he said after the Miami game, Dan Campbell. We didn't hit them at the line. Talking about his secondary guys, talking about his DBs, his corners, his safeties. We didn't hit them at the line. That was part of the game plan. We didn't disrupt. We did not disrupt, and when you let them do that and get into your defense, we didn't want to turn it into a track meet. And it was a track meet. I remember Dan Campbell saying that before this game even started, that he didn't want to make this into a track meet with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle because you're going to get destroyed. So yeah, they didn't bang on those guys. They didn't try to. They were not physical with them. And then he says again. He also adds, "We did not do well in this game, in this game plan that was designed for these guys." And these guys, he's talking about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They were given huge cushions to these guys, which I don't blame them to a point. But when you let those guys run around free, when you let guys like Waddle and Tyreek Hill run around free, you're not going to win football games, and you're not going to win those one-on-one matchups. Now, they're speed demons. I understand that, so you got to give some cushion. But if you don't go with the game plan, somebody's getting fired. So it was obviously Aubrey Pleasant. You know, you don't do your job, you're gone. It's just that simple. It's just really that simple. If you're going to try to do other things and not let your boss know, and believe it or not, Dan Campbell is the boss, then you're fired. Now, should it have been more Aaron Glenn? Shouldn't have been more Aubrey Pleasant? That's something that's in-house. That's something that's probably discussed. Maybe they were having problems on the sidelines with Glenn and Pleasant. I don't really know. But if you don't do your job as a head coach or just as a position coach, not even a head coach, but yeah, you know what I mean. If you don't do your job in general, the game plan is to do something and you do something else, you're probably going to get fired. So don't feel sorry for Aubrey Pleasant, because bottom of the bottom line is all these guys got to go. Are they all going to get fired at the end of the year? Probably not. I don't think so. I bet you majority could, though. It could happen. We don't have great defensive coaches on this team. Like like we said, we can talk up Aubrey Pleasant. I think he was a big part in the resurgence of Jeff Okudah. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. But overall, he's done a horrific job. And that's putting injuries to the side. He has not done a great job. Now, some of the players came out, I think last year, 2 years ago, saying how much they loved Aubrey Pleasant, on how he was a very great communicator. He was almost like a father figure out there. Him and Tracy Walker had a really good relationship. So does this ruffle some feathers? It could. It could. This could all come crashing down in front of us. I don't think it's going to because of this firing, but it might ruffle some feathers. You never know. You never know. But I don't think it's going to stop here. It might not go the rest of the year, but you're going to see other guys going. You're going to see other defensive coaches fired on this team. It's just you're the worst defense in the NFL. Someone has to get fired. And Glenn's probably next. He's probably next, but I just have a feeling he won't be right now. If there's anybody that's going to be next, it's going to be him. Because there's your mulligan, Aaron Glenn. There's your one mulligan. Right there was Aubrey Pleasant. It's just, that's the way it is. So don't be shocked that Aubrey Pleasant got fired. Don't be sitting there going, it's the wrong guy. Everyone on social media crying about the wrong guy. Because if it would have been Aaron Glenn, people would have probably said the same thing. His fan base is hilarious, man. Like, everybody needs to be gone here. Everybody does. So Aubrey Pleasant going before anybody else, big deal. Because it's happening. The chopping block is happening. The hammer's being swung. You know, it's a bad look. That's two defense. That's an OC from last year. You know, there's a couple other guys. I think DeLeon got fired too. The other linebacker coach got fired at the end of the year last year. It happens. Turnaround happens. But you know, Aubrey Pleasant was a guy that a lot of people liked in the building. He was kind of like that tough guy mentality. He's kind of like almost like a dad to some of the players. Man, he treated those kids with tough love. So we'll see. But I don't know who's going to take over for him. I saw an article of Jeremy Reisman saying that maybe it would be Brian Duker. He is the safeties coach right now, because really they don't really have any other. They have other coaches in that DB room. I'm assuming, but the 9 that they have that they list, it's only Aubrey Pleasant as a DB coach and Brian Duker as a safety coach. So everybody else is like linebackers and D-line. So maybe it's going to be Brian Duker is going to take over his job as passing game coordinator and overall DB unit. So that's it, guys. Aubrey Pleasant's gone. Defensive coach, 1 down. I think some more to go. Thanks for the video, guys. Thanks for paying attention. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, get all my videos. And don't forget to like, comment, share this out. One Pride. Go Lions. Boom.